Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick back from a short break. Did you guys miss me? I hope you enjoyed the content I've been putting out over the last week that I had backed up. While I was gone, there was a few new announcements for Star Wars Legion. Just a few accessory packs, no new units, nothing crazy, but definitely worth making a video on, definitely worth talking about here in a quick little rundown. First up, we have this article here, Fortify Your Battlefield, and it has details on a couple of expansion packs, one with just some generic barricades, just a bit of terrain for your battlefield, another that has terrain that actually is used as mission objectives in the priority supplies. Let's just scroll down to the spread of priority supplies and have a look at that, because this is probably the most interesting part of this. We have all the elements shown on the screen here in the spread, and they all come with their own playing base, which is really cool. Basically, it means if you have to capture supplies, if you quote unquote have to be in base contact with this kind of stuff, you interact with it just like one of your enemy units, just like one of your friendly units, and it works that way. If you have to be within a certain range of these things, it means that you have the same base that you'd have on your regular minis, which means you can use the measurement tool just like anything else. It'll slot nice and close to the base. I really like how they've gone for that kind of design. But what's probably most notable about this pack here is the cards that come with it, because indeed this isn't just terrain, this actually comes with a few objective cards. Now it looks like it's just these three in the back here, but they did kindly show us what all of the details on these cards are. First up, we have Sabotage the Moisture Evaporators, and this actually correlates to the Moisture Evaporators that you get in this pack. Setup, starting with the blue player. Players alternate placing objective tokens on the battlefield until 4 tokens have been placed. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone, and beyond range 2 of any other objective token. Place 2 wound tokens on each objective token. Each objective token cannot have more than 4 wound tokens on it, which sounds kind of weird because you only put 2 on each. But the whole idea is, when a unit is in base contact, they can sabotage or repair it, which removes or gains that moisture evaporator a wound token respectively. Victory. At the end of the game, the blue player gains 1 victory token for each wound, over 2 on each objective token. The red player gains 2 victory tokens for each objective token with fewer than 2 wound tokens on it, -1 for each wound token on those objective tokens. Now, it's a bit of a mind twist. So basically what it's saying is if it only has 1 wound token on it, you would get 2 -1 because it has 1 wound token on it still. So anything with 1 wound token will net you a total of 1 victory token for the red player. Anything with 0 will net them 2. What's interesting about all this is it seems like this mission objective is not symmetrical, but when you actually sit down and sort of work out what's going on here, it basically is, because 1 sabotage or repair nets you 1 victory point. Just the way it's worded is a bit roundabout, and a very cool idea, a very good way of using the terrain that's coming in this pack. We also have here advanced positioning, and this, on the face of it, when I first saw this, I thought, oh yeah, just another sort of generic deployment card. We have a nice L shape, kind of a happy medium between just across the board deployment and disarray, in that you kind of get some good flanking abilities, but so does your opponent. It's nothing crazy like disarray where everyone's flanking everyone all the time, but it's a nice happy medium between those cards. But what's interesting about this is there's actually a bit more rules text underneath the picture. During the deploy unit step, each trooper unit gains Scout 1 and loses Stationary. And both of these are new keywords that we've not seen before. Scout, after you deploy, you may perform a 1 speed move. Now, I'm guessing the 1 next to Scout is indicative of the speed of the movement, not how many movements you do. That would seem to make the most sense, given that that is where the 1 is placed in the reminder text. Stationary means you cannot move your unit. Now, in this case, you just lose it, but we don't actually have a unit in the game that has stationary, which indicates that this is a concept that they're working on. And off the top of my head, I can't really imagine what would do this apart from like a gun turret or something like that. But as a trooper unit, I don't know. It's interesting. I guess we'll have to see how that works in the future, but a nice little indicator of what's to happen. The third and final card we have in this pack is Minefield. This is a battlefield condition. Starting with the blue player, players alternate placing condition tokens on the battlefield until 4 tokens have been placed. And just before I go on, we were talking previously when we got the rules PDF about the value of trying to be the blue or the red player. And again, this all comes back to that again, in that you get to place the first mine or you get to place the last mine. And I guess in different situations based on your army or different deployments, that can become really relevant. Each token must be placed beyond range 1 of each deployment zone and beyond range 2 of any other condition token. After a non-repulsor unit performs a move, so if you have lots of speeders, this is obviously going to be better for you. If it's at range 1 and line of sight of a condition token, roll a red defense die. On an evade result, the condition token detonates. On a surge result, it detonates twice. And what happens is you suffer this attack. Blast, impact 1, red dice, black dice, and on surge results, they turn into crits. So this could seriously do a lot of damage even to your vehicles. This is really, really nasty. This is probably the most dynamic condition card we have yet. It's going to be the most explosive one. It's going to be the most spiky in terms of the way it reacts to your army. If you are the player with 2 snow speeders, if you have made a list that makes that work, this is going to be your best friend. You want to see this card. If your opponent has ATSTs, they are going to hate this card. Again, it's all about being reactive to the list. It's about being spiky, and that's just fun. One more thing I want to note about this pack, it is $25 US, or I should say $24.95, and it costs the same as one of the Trooper packs. The Barricade pack with 4 of them imaged here retails for $14.95 US, which is the same as the Dice pack, also going to be released alongside the core set. And this comes with 8 Barricades. Now, look, there's not much to say here. You get what you see here in the picture. Nothing really special. They come unpainted like everything else in Star Wars Legion. I don't know how to feel about this because honestly I was never really going to consider doing this kind of stuff. I was just going to use the MDF kits of various brands and whatnot. I think the advantage of buying these Fantasy Flight kits is they have the Star Wars brand, they have the Star Wars license, and they can make things specifically from Star Wars. And when we look at the ejective packs, we look at the crates and the moisture evaporators, those are very much modeled directly from Star Wars. It has the Star Wars branding on it, and that's cool. But these barricades just look like, you know, generic sci-fi barricades, and from that point of view, I'm not that hyped about these. I think I can just get anything out of MDF packs or something like that. Lots of different brands make this kind of stuff, and I don't think it's going to be demonstrably better than any of those, but it is cool nonetheless that you can just buy all the FFG stuff and you can basically go from there without having to buy third-party products. What is cool about this is it gives us a good standard benchmark for the size of barricades that FFG have tried to design from this game. So look, even if you don't buy these, even if you're like me and you're not really interested in doing this kind of stuff, you'd rather just get MDF kits for your terrain, you can look at these and go, oh, okay, well look, this is sort of the generic size we want to go for. Maybe if I want to craft something myself, I'll try and mimic this as best I can. And that way we know that most players will have the same size barricades and we can get used to this kind of standard. And from that point of view, it's a nice inclusion. Look, I'm not going to complain. It's something extra, it's something fun, and they do look kind of cool, I have to admit. Okay, and the third and final thing we're going to talk about today, and this is from a separate article, Prepare Your Troops. This is a new set of gaming mats for Star Wars Legion. And this is cool. We didn't really know if FFG were going to do this, being that it is a 3x6 game. As far as I know, they don't make 3x6 gaming mats. A lot of other companies do, but FFG tend to stick to the 3x3s. And indeed, these are 3x3 gaming mats that are modular in that you can put them together in one way or another, and they sit together quite nicely. You can just make 2 3x3s side by side and make your 6x3 game space, and that's really cool. Now, look, have a look at these. These are basically X-Wing gaming mats. We know what this product is. We know the quality. We know it's good. We know it cost a little bit more than the third-party brands, but you do get decent quality and you do get properly branded stuff. I will say, just having a quick close look at it, I'm not crazy about the fact that it seems to have the Star Wars logo on it. I'm hoping this is just for this image here, but I really prefer that this kind of stuff doesn't happen because it's there on your gaming mat, it's there on your table, and it just looks a little bit tacky having the branding directly on there. What's cool about this and what gives it an edge over the third-party brands that make the more generic mats like your grasslands, your snowlands, your deserts, is that this is Star Wars to the T. I mean, have a look at this mat here. It's got the footprints of an AT-AT marching across the battlefield. We've got a wrecked AT-ST here. We have a wrecked TIE fighter. And that just looks really, really cool. We scroll down here, we have a wrecked Jedi temple, which just looks awesome. Obviously, it's all flat. There's no actual terrain on this. But this is very, very practical. If you're the kind of person, well, if you're kind of like me, I rent a small unit, I don't have space to set up my own table, this is fantastic. I'm going to get gaming mats so I can basically pack up my entire battlefield and stick it in the cupboard because I don't have the room physically in my house to keep battlefields out. It's just how it is, and it's what a lot of us actually have to deal with. So it's great to have these kind of products available. I just want to quickly as well mention something one of you posted. I posted this on my Facebook page this morning, asking you guys what you thought of this. And Lachlan, if you're watching, you talked about, hey, this would be great for X-Wing. And obviously from a practicality point, yes, these are X-Wing mats. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to take these to a tournament. They're FFG, they're 3x3. I can't imagine any reason why these wouldn't be tournament legal in X-Wing. There is one slight issue though. If you take a good look at these mats, but I'll scroll up to this one again because this one really highlights my point. If you have a look at the scale of what's going on here, this is really zoomed in to the point where it's basically designed to have those 35mm figures standing directly on it. If you put X-Wing minis on it, X-Wings and TIE Fighters, whatever, they are going to look miniature, unfortunately. This giant TIE Fighter wing, if you flew a TIE Fighter over it, it's going to be about that big, and it's just kind of look weird. Unfortunately, these aren't bland or generic enough. They're not zoomed out enough to make that look realistic. I mean, look, it's cool. If you have this anyway and you need a tournament legal mat for your X-Wing, go ahead. There's no reason why you can't use this. In terms of immersion and realism, no, I don't think this is going to be great because it's just going to look a bit silly. The scaling isn't going to quite work when you're playing a game of X-Wing on this, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we have some really, really cool products here. The terrain packs are going to release in the second quarter, probably around the same time as Princess Leia, Veers, the Snowtroopers, and the Fleet Troopers. There is no release date given on these gaming mats yet. There's no reason that these have to go alongside something else. It probably won't happen during Wave 2. I don't think X-Wing mats have ever correlated with any of the X-Wing waves. It's just always a separate release, like an Ace pack or just something separate and supplementary. In any case, they're not crucial products. We can still play Legion with our X-Wing mats, or we can just, mark out a 3x3 table. This just adds a bit more spice, a bit more realism to our games. I think what I'm most hyped here for is those objective tokens and all those new objective cards. I think it's going to add a lot of really cool spice to the game. We'll probably have the core set out for at least a few months before that comes out. So we'll get used to the core set cards, and then a couple months down the track, we'll have Minefield added to the condition cards, and that's just really going to spice up the whole game. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and I will catch you later.